Up to half of first-time CDL test takers don't pass, and many of them struggle with the same types of questions. Today, we're going to walk through the key topics you're most likely to see on the 2026 CDL General Knowledge Permit Test, following distance, braking, cargo weight limits, pre-trip inspections, bad weather driving, and more. I'm going to hit you with real practice questions, explain exactly why each answer is correct, and show you the tricky stuff that trips people up. And stick around to the end, because I'm going to break down 3 questions that catch a lot of people off guard on their first try. Here's the thing, the CDL permit test isn't hard if you study the right material, but most people don't. They wing it, they guess, and they walk out with a failing score. That test costs you money every time you retake it. More importantly, it costs you time you could be on the road earning. At LogRock, we work with truckers every single day, from brand new permit holders to guys running 10 truck fleets. We see who makes it and who doesn't. And the ones who make it, they studied smart. Here's exactly what we're covering. 6 sections. 6 of the topics the CDL General Knowledge Test focuses on the most. 1. Safe driving and following distance. 2. Hills, grades, and brake fade. 3. Cargo securement and weight limits. 4. Pre-trip inspections. 5. Night driving, weather, and skids. And 6. The study strategy that actually works. We're moving fast, so if you need to pause and take notes, do it. Let's get into it. All right, number 1, following distance. This shows up on virtually every CDL test. So if you're driving a 60-foot rig, that's 6 seconds of space. Here's the general guideline from the MCSA CDL manual. 1 second of following distance for every 10 feet of your vehicle. So if you're driving a 60-foot rig, that's 6 seconds of space. But, and this is where people mess up, if you're going over 40 miles per hour, you add 1 more second. So that same 60-foot truck at highway speed, 7 seconds. Keep in mind, your state CDL manual may word this slightly differently, so always double check. Now let me throw a practice question at you. You're driving a 50-foot truck at 45 miles per hour. What's your minimum following distance? Is it A, 4 seconds, B, 5 seconds, C, 6 seconds, or D, 7 seconds? The answer is C, 6 seconds. 50 feet divided by 10 gives you 5 plus 1 extra second because you're over 40 Mapachite. 6 seconds total. And in bad weather, rain, fog, snow, you increase even beyond that. Now here's the braking question they love to test. What's the difference between controlled braking and stab braking? Controlled braking means you press the brakes as hard as you can without locking the wheels. That's the preferred method. Stab braking is when you fully apply, release when the wheels lock, then reapply. But here's the key. If your truck has ABS, anti-lock brakes, just press firm and steady. Let the system do the work. No pumping, no stabbing. Now this next section, hills and brake fade, this is where the test gets people. Pay close attention. When you're coming down a long, steep hill, your brakes are not your main tool. Your engine is. The CDL manual is crystal clear on this. Select the right gear before you start going downhill, not during, before, because once gravity has you rolling, you may not be able to downshift at all. The rule of thumb, pick 1 gear lower than what you'd need to climb that same hill. And whatever you do not ride the brakes. Instead, use snub braking. When your speed hits about 5 miles per hour above your safe speed, brake hard. Constant light braking is the fastest way to overheat your brakes. That's called brake fade. The drums get so hot they expand away from the linings and your brakes literally stop working. Instead, use snub braking. When your speed hits about 5 miles per hour above your safe speed, brake hard. Bring it down to 5 below your safe speed, then release completely and let them cool. That cooling period is everything. Practice question. When should you downshift on a long, steep hill? A, after you start going downhill. B, before you start going downhill. C, when the brakes start to fade. Or D, only if you have a manual transmission. B, before you start going downhill. Waiting is not an option. And one more thing, engine retarders, Jake brakes, turn them off on wet or icy roads. They only brake the drive wheels, which can cause a skid or a jackknife on slippery surfaces. All right, cargo. And here's what catches people. You can be under 80,000 total and still be overweight on a specific axle. The Federal Bridge formula determines how much weight each axle group can carry based on how many axles you have and how far apart they're spaced, tie downs. As a general rule for most cargo, for articles 5 feet or longer but under 10 feet, you need at least 2 tie downs. For cargo 10 feet or longer, you need 2 tie downs for the first 10 feet, plus 1 more for every additional 10 feet. Keep in mind that specific commodities like logs, metal coils, or heavy equipment have their own securement rules under the FMCSRs. Always check the regs for your load type, and you must check your cargo securement within the first 50 miles after departure, then every 150 miles or 3 hours, whichever comes first. Quick question, what's the max weight on a tandem axle? A, 20,000, B, 28,000, C, 34,000, or D, 40,000, or C, 34,000 pounds? The 20,000 figure is for a single axle. A high center of gravity dramatically increases rollover risk, especially in curves. And remember, the speed limits posted on highway exit ramps are designed for cars, not trucks. CMVs with high loads need to take those curves even slower. Do me a favor, if this is helping you study, hit that like button. It helps us make more free content like this for truckers. Now let's talk inspections. Every CDL test has pre-trip inspection questions. Here's what you need to know. Before you drive, you review the last driver vehicle inspection report and sign off that any defects were fixed. Your truck must carry 3 pieces of emergency equipment. A fire extinguisher rated at least 5 BC. That jumps to 10 BC for hazmat loads, 3 reflective triangles, and spare electrical fuses for every type and size your vehicle uses. The exception: if your vehicle has circuit breakers, you don't need spare fuses. Now, paperwork. Before you drive, you review the last driver vehicle inspection report and sign off that any defects were fixed. After you drive, at the end of your shift, you're generally required to complete a DVIR covering brakes, steering, lights, tires, horn, wipers, mirrors, coupling devices, and emergency equipment. The specifics can depend on your operation type. Property carrying versus passenger carrying vehicles have different reporting requirements under 49 CFR, FAR 396.111, and FAR 396.13. But for the CDL test, the key point is the DVIR is required, even if you found no defects during your trip. The CDL manual's rule: never drive faster than you can stop within the distance you can see. Hydroplaning can happen at speeds as low as 30 mm/h depending on tire condition, water depth, and road surface. If it happens, take your foot off the gas. Don't brake, don't jerk the wheel. Skids: if your drive wheels start to skid, rear end sliding out, stop braking and steer in the direction of the skid. If your front wheels skid, the only fix is to stop turning the wheel and slow down until the front tires grip again. Here's one the test loves. Which vehicle must always stop at railroad crossings, even when empty? The answer is cargo tank vehicles. Loaded or empty, doesn't matter. Buses with passengers and placarded hazmat vehicles also must stop. You stop no closer than 15 feet and no farther than 50 feet from the nearest rail, and never shift gears while crossing the tracks. All right, we're almost done. But this last part, the study strategy and the 3 questions everyone gets wrong, this might be the most valuable 60 seconds in the whole video. The CDL general knowledge test is typically 50 questions, though the exact number can vary by state. The federal minimum passing score is 80%, so on a 50 question test, that means you need at least 40 correct. Only 10 wrong answers and you're done. That is not a lot of room. Here's how to study smart. Download your state's CDL manual from your DMV website. It's free. Does ABS reduce your stopping distance? Most people say yes. The answer is no. ABS prevents wheel lockup and keeps you in control, but it does not shorten stopping distance. Number 2, when do you apply brakes during a tire blowout? Most people say immediately. Wrong. You hold the steering wheel, stay off the brake, stay in your lane, and let the truck slow down on its own. You only brake gently after your speed has already dropped. Number 3, can you be overweight on an axle even if your total weight is under 80,000 pounds? Yes, absolutely yes. The bridge formula governs each axle group independently. You can be at 75,000 total and still get an overweight ticket on a single axle. All right, let's lock it in. 6 things to remember. 1, following distance is 1 second per 10 feet plus 1/40 make for each. 2, shift into low gear before the downgrade and use snub braking. 3, 80,000 pounds max gross, 20,000 single axle, 34,000 tandem. 4, carry a 5 BC extinguisher, 3 triangles, and spare fuses. 5, low beams within 500 feet, and hydroplaning can start as low as 30 mph. 6, study until you're hitting 90% on practice tests before you sit for the real thing. If you're working on getting your CDL and you're already thinking about what comes next, your own authority, your own truck, building a real business, you're going to need commercial trucking insurance. That's what we do at LogRock. We help owner-operators and small fleets find coverage options that fit their operation. There's a link in the description if you'd like to request a quote. Coverage options, pricing, and availability vary by state and individual circumstances. Now, if this video helped you feel more prepared, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the rest of the series. Drop a comment below and let me know where you're at in your CDL journey. I read every single one. And if you know someone else who's studying for their permit, send them this video. It might be exactly what they need right now. Now, if you want to keep studying, watch this next video right here. It covers air brakes, the endorsement test that fails more people than any other. I'll see you in there.